All right, so get ready because today we're diving deep into the chakra system. These energy centers are fascinating, and I'm really curious to see how they all connect to well being. Do you think there's a link between how we feel physically and emotionally and these spinning wheels of energy?
Well, it's a concept that's been around for centuries. It touches on the idea of balance in our bodies, but also our minds and spirits. Think of it this way. When energy flows through these chakras, it's like a river nourishing everything along its banks.
Okay, I like that. So, starting at the base, we have the root chakra or mulatara. It's all about feeling grounded, secure, like you're rooted in the earth. Have you ever noticed how being in nature, feeling that earth beneath you, can be so calming?
Yeah, it's almost like plugging into an energy source.
Mm.
And that's what the root chakra is about. Stability, security, knowing you have a solid foundation.
Yeah.
When it's balanced, you can handle anything life throws at you without feeling threatened or anxious.
But what if your root chakra is off? Our sources mention anxiety, insecurity, even clinging to possessions for security. It's like you're searching for something outside yourself to fill that void instead of finding strength within.
Right, and that's where things like grounding meditations can be powerful. Even something as simple as walking barefoot on the grass can help. It's about reconnecting with that primal energy, feeling stable.
I've actually been trying to do more grounding stuff lately, and I have to say, I think I feel a difference. It's subtle, but I feel a little more centered, more resilient. What about you?
I think the key is to find what works for you. What helps you tap into that stability? For some people, it's nature. For others, it might be yoga or just taking deep breaths and focusing on your feet on the ground.
Okay, let's move up to the second chakra, the sacral chakra, or Svadhisthana. This one's all about our emotions, our creativity, and even our sensuality. It's associated with the element of water, so think fluidity, flow, going with the ebb and flow of life.
Hmm, this chakra is fascinating. It's about embracing pleasure, joy, and navigating relationships with emotional intelligence. When it's balanced, you're in touch with your feelings, you express them healthily, and you find joy in simple things.
But this is interesting. Our sources talk about how an imbalance in the sacral chakra can show up in two different ways. On one hand, someone might be overly emotional, easily overwhelmed, but then you have someone who shuts down emotionally, numbs themselves, and avoids feeling anything deeply. Why do you think that is?
It's like two sides of the same coin. Both are coping mechanisms. One is overexpression, the other is suppression. Neither allows for healthy flow, that ability to experience and process emotions in a balanced way.
That makes a lot of sense. It shows how important it is to find a balance, that sweet spot where we can feel without being consumed. So how do we balance the sacral chakra?
Well, our sources suggest things like water activity, swimming, taking a bath, even just listening to the sound of rain can help. It's about connecting with water, that sense of flow. They also mention dancing, creative expression, and even pelvic floor exercises.
Pelvic floor exercises. That's not something you hear every day when talking about chakras.
It's about connecting with that area of the body, bringing awareness and energy to it. And it's not just for women. Pelvic floor exercises can be good for everyone's health and well-being.
Okay, so we've got grounding for the root chakra, water, and creativity for the sacral. It's interesting how the elements tie into all of this.
Yeah, it's like each chakra has its own language.
Yeah.
And understanding that language can give us clues on how to work with it, how to balance
I
it.
like that a lot. Okay, listener, let's think about these first two chakras for a second. Do you feel grounded, secure? Are you comfortable with your emotions? What can you do to support these energy centers?
We're going to keep moving up from the sacral chakra and we reach the solar plexus chakra or manipura. It's all about fire,
Hmm.
like willpower, confidence, and that inner drive.
Oh, okay, so this is where our personal power comes in. I can see how it connects to fire, like that feeling of burning bright, taking action and going after what you want.
Exactly. When the solar plexus is balanced, you feel capable and confident in what you can do. You trust your gut, take on challenges, and don't let fear stop you.
But I'm thinking, like with the other chakras, there are two sides. What if it's out of balance?
Well, think about it. Too much fire can be destructive, right? An overactive solar plexus might make you controlling or even aggressive.
Yeah, I see. So it's not just about having the fire, but managing it, channeling it the right way. What about the other side, though? Not enough fire.
That can look like low self-esteem, not being able to make decisions and feeling powerless. You might find yourself looking for validation from other people or avoiding challenges.
Interesting. So finding that balance, assertive but not aggressive, Confident but not arrogant.
Yeah, exactly. And, the sources suggest some cool ways to work with the solar plexus chakra.
Mhm.
They mention things like core strengthening exercises,
Mhm.
Pilates or martial arts, anything that helps you build that physical and energetic core.
Yeah, that makes sense. A strong core can definitely make you feel more stable and powerful, physically and mentally. What else?
They also talk about affirmations. Repeating things like, I am strong, I am capable, it can really shift your energy and help tap into that inner strength.
Yeah, I love that. It's like a pep talk, reminding yourself how strong you are. All right, let's keep moving upward. From the fire of the solar plexus to the air element of the heart chakra, or anahata, this one seems kind of self-explanatory love, right?
Well, it's more than just romantic love. The heart chakra is about compassion, empathy, forgiveness. It's about connecting deeply with yourself and other people. That feeling of being open and loving unconditionally.
I think we all need a little more of that. So when our heart chakra is balanced, we give and receive love freely without being afraid or holding back.
Exactly. And it's about loving yourself too. When your heart chakra is open, you value yourself and you can set good boundaries in relationships.
But what if it's blocked or imbalanced? I bet there's some interesting ways that can show up too.
There are. Too much energy in the heart chakra can lead to relying too much on other people for love. It can make you feel like you need to please everyone all the time.
And on the other side, if it's closed off, it can make you afraid of intimacy, not trust people easily, or even seem cold.
Right. It's like putting walls up around your heart to protect it. But then you block out connection and love.
So how can we have a healthy heart chakra? How do we open ourselves to love without losing ourselves?
The sources talk about self-care being important and learning to forgive and being grateful for what you have. They also mention spending time in nature, being around the color green and doing loving kindness meditations.
It's about nurturing that feeling of love, inside and out. And even small acts of kindness can make a difference.
For sure. Just smiling at someone, saying something nice, or helping out. Those little things can change the energy for you and the people around you.
Okay, listener, take a minute. We went from the fire of the solar plexus to the air of the heart. How do those energies work together in your life? Can you be powerful without being compassionate? Can you really love without valuing yourself?
It's something to think about.
Yeah.
These chakras aren't separate. They all affect each other. It's a complex web of energy inside of us.
Absolutely, and we're about to dive into those higher chakras next, exploring communication, intuition, and our connection to something bigger than ourselves. All right, so we're back and ready for those higher chakras. Next up is the throat chakra, or Vishuddha, right in the throat area. It's all about communication and expressing yourself, and its element is ether, or space. Makes me think of freedom, openness.
Yeah, I like that connection. When the throat chakra is balanced, you communicate authentically and clearly, whether it's speaking your truth, being creative, or just listening with an open heart. It's about letting your voice flow.
But what if it's blocked or imbalanced? I'm thinking it could go a couple different ways.
You're right. Our sources talk about talking too much, like dominating conversations, or the opposite,
Yeah.
struggling to speak up, holding back. Either way, it messes with that free flow of energy.
That makes sense. So how do we find that balance in the throat chakra? How do we let our true voices be heard?
Our sources suggest different things like singing, chanting, even having those heart-to-heart conversations. It's about using your voice in a way that feels right for you. And remember, communication goes both ways. It's not just about talking. It's also about listening, really hearing what other people are trying to say.
I love that. It's like that saying, we have two ears and one mouth for a reason. Okay, moving up, we reach the third eye chakra, or ajna, between the eyebrows. Its element is light, all about intuition, insight, connecting with your inner wisdom.
This one's often called the seat of intuition. When it's balanced, you can see beyond the surface. Trust your gut. You get a deeper understanding of yourself and the world, like having clear inner vision.
That's pretty powerful. What if our third eye is a bit, well, blurry?
Our sources mention confusion, relying too much on logic, even getting lost in fantasies. It's about finding that balance between the rational mind and intuition. Not ignoring logic completely, but also listening to that inner wisdom.
So how do we sharpen our intuition, learn to trust those gut feelings?
The sources suggest meditation, visualizations, even puzzles, brain games that make you think. It's about engaging with the world in a way that makes you curious, encourages you to look deeper, see those patterns, connections, the meaning behind things.
Okay, listener, let's think about your throat and third eye chakras for a minute. How freely do you express yourself? Do you trust your intuition? These energy centers are a big deal in how we see and interact with the world.
Oh, absolutely. They let us communicate our truth and understand things on a deeper level. Taking care of these chakras can lead to some serious personal growth and spiritual insights.
Okay, and finally we get to the crown chakra, or Sahasrara, at the very top of the head. This is the connection to the divine, to something bigger than ourselves.
This chakra represents our spiritual connection, that feeling of being one with the universe. When it's balanced, you feel a deep sense of peace, purpose. You really understand where you fit in the grand scheme of things.
Wow, that sounds incredible. What happens if it's blocked?
The sources mentioned feeling spiritually disconnected, cynical, lacking purpose, like you're adrift at sea with no anchor.
So how do we open this connection to the divine? How do we cultivate that sense of connection, that purpose?
Our sources emphasize meditation, prayer, contemplation. It's about being still, quieting the mind, creating space for a higher consciousness to come through. Things like mindfulness and gratitude can help too.
So there you have it, the whole chakra system, from being grounded and stable with the root chakra to that transcendent connection of the crown. What a journey. What are your big takeaways?
For me, it's that reminder that these energy centers are all connected. They work together. It's this amazing symphony of energy inside of us. When one's off balance, it can throw the others off. It creates ripples throughout our whole being.
I totally agree. It's a fascinating journey of self-discovery. And listener, I really want you to pay attention to your own energy, to those little cues your chakras are sending you. What practices feel right for you? What can you do today to take care of your energy system, to balance it?
Remember, exploring your chakras is an ongoing thing. Be curious, be open to it.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by what you discover and how you transform along the way.